For years, I thought this film was a confusing mess, but when I sat down to watch it again for this review, I discovered the confusion was because my copy was in the wrong order, which made it very hard to follow. After figuring that out and watching the movie in the right order, I liked it a lot more. Don't get me wrong, I liked it well enough before too. It might have been a confusing mess, but it had some great sets. And I'm not talking about filming locations. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at Nymphs Anonymous from 1968. This film is notable for being one of the few comedic Roughies, and for being one of the few films featuring glamour model Michelle Angelo in a speaking role. If you ask me, she's one of the most gorgeous people to ever grace the sexploitation screen or the pages of Playboy magazine.
She appeals to me.
Her role here isn't very big, but that's okay. She's not famous for her big roles. She comes in at the end of this film, so I'll get to her in a few minutes. First, let's see how this thing begins. We open on some groovy music and the opening titles over various scenes from the movie. Many of these scenes are of the spicy variety, so you'll have to take my word for it. Unit manager Bethel Buckaloo, we know him. His stuff has been on the channel loads of times, most recently with Southern Comforts. The first film he produced and directed was a few years after this. I believe this is his earliest credit. He'll even show up later in an acting role near the end of the film. The opening titles end with the title card over a naked Michelle Angelo in a swimming pool, and that's nothing you can see here on YouTube.
Man, I just work here.
But of course, we don't have to stay here. You can now support the channel on Patreon and get access to spicy versions of my reviews. Link is in the description. After the credits, we open on an ass, the kind you can see here on YouTube. Oh, it's a rolling machine. That's fitting. Cigarettes do taste like ass. I suppose that's why I smoked them for so long. So, this is a meeting of Nymphs Anonymous. The leader tells us that men have mismanaged the world, and through various bedroom activities involving powerful people, these ladies will force the men to surrender their power. We learn that there's a married woman who would like to join the group. That's her rolling around on the bed while her husband does push-ups. She falls out of her negligee, so let's skip ahead a bit. Apparently, her husband is more career-focused than wife-focused, and she's frustrated.
Laura, let go. I've got to get to the office. Laura, too much is too much.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't have a career. Hubby goes off to work, and wifey entertains a bill collector, a vacuum salesman, and a doctor. But none of them can be fully convinced. Luckily for her, her application into Nymphs Anonymous has been approved. The boss promises to send over an emergency squad to take care of her right away. But uh-oh, the hubby is home early. The emergency squad doesn't take too kindly to that. It's against the rules to take care of a client if the husband isn't in agreement. So it turns out that Nymphs Anonymous has a pretty decent code of ethics. Hubby says he's tired of the infidelity and is going to keep a closer eye on his wife's activities. But in the next scene, he's not keeping an eye on his wife, but on the two guys who were just at his place. Sometime later, we're inside the Nymphs headquarters, and the two guys rough up a gal. But she likes it, so it's all good. Like I said, this is an ethical organization. Up on the hill, the husband gets his gun out, and that's not a euphemism, that's what's happening on the screen. The gun was because he spotted his wife, and he takes out the two men she came to meet. Oh, bit of a role reversal there. Normally, guys in that line of work are the ones providing a shot to the face. The wife runs inside to call the boss, who says she'll think of some way to handle this rogue husband situation. Two more guys show up and they're shot at, but they manage to escape. And then a guy approaches the house wearing this cool mask. Okay, so if at this point in the movie your copy jumps to the husband being in bed with a character you don't recognize, you're watching the version of the film that's in the wrong order. What should happen next is the masked husband enters the house and the troubled married couple try to work out their differences.
So this
This is where you go in the daytime to get rid of your headaches.
Stan, if you're going to kill every man I'm going to bed with, we're going to have a very unhappy marriage.
And then they retire to the bedroom. Some guys show up while the husband is indisposed and steal his gun. Later, he gets a call from the boss of Nymphs Anonymous, blackmailing him into working for the group. They've got his gun and one of the bodies he dropped, so he better do what he's told. His first client is Professor Grace. And now that the husband has his shirt off, we can see that he's a beefcake Rick Moranis. So if you've been searching for that, your search is over. Beefcake Rick Moranis and the professor have some top-heavy fun that you can't see here, including a bath. His second client likes to have her clothes ripped off. She puts on various dresses and hunky Rick Moranis rips them off. That's pretty fun. After their session, he steps outside with her and promptly gets shot at. So it's back inside to the next clients, a couple who wants him to be the bull.
What the hell are you talking about?
And from here on out, it's just one series of sexual adventures after another. The highlight is the lesbians who get into a fight over him. And this is a highlight not because of the fighting, even though that is pretty cool, but because one of the pair is Michelle Angelo, who I mentioned earlier. Anyway, will our married couple work out their differences? Will the police figure out who is responsible for the murders? Well, that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. There are some gorgeous people in this thing, and they all have certain appealing qualities. And there are a handful of girls in this thing. I appreciate that. This isn't one of those sexploitation films with just two girls.
Man has to have a little bit of variety.
Beyond the ladies, we also get a hunky Rick Moranis. Finally, a sexploitation film where the guy is every bit as statuesque as the girls. And when we aren't having a fun time watching beautiful people do beautiful people things, this movie is really funny.
Goodness, he's lost his self-control. Stop him! Oh no, not me, nothing doing. This is a private home. If he wants to play with his wife, it's all right by me.
But I'm his wife.
And this is one of the few comedic roughies. I think the Flesh trilogy is funny, but the humor there is really twisted. The humor here is more traditional slapstick, which is a lot of fun. But aside from being funny and sexy, the film's not perfect. Like a hunky Rick Moranis doing the professor's bidding, this film has some shortcomings. Well, if you're looking for a roughie, you're in the wrong place. This is some pretty light stuff. Ripping clothes, slapping around a client, two lesbians wrestling, but that's about it. There is some bloody murder, but it's not slashery like a Finlay film. It's gunshots from a distance. I don't think this should count against the movie, though. The movie is its own thing, which is fine. A real shortcoming, though, is that the movie is too long. Most sexploitation films from the 60s, and nearly every roughie, comes in around 70 minutes, and that's about perfect. It's enough time for a simple story and a handful of sexy scenes, but not long enough for the audience to realize the thin story was a mere excuse to show naked situations. This film is nearly 90 minutes long, and that's just too much. The other major problem here is that some of the dialogue, including all of the dialogue spoken by the doctor, is awful. This doctor in particular is a terrible actor. His part should have been eliminated completely, which would have also helped reduce the film's runtime. Overall, though, this one is pretty fun, if you're watching the version that's in the right order anyway. It's sexy, it's funny, and features some gals with some nice features.